Hello there, welcome to my reaction to 10 essential early game discoveries in Elden Ring by Vitividia. Kinda hope to go on his channel, find some lore. Hopefully it's in the works, because I do want to know more about Elden Ring. It does tell you a lot on its own, but I'm not a kind of person who reads a lot of item descriptions. I read a few, but not all of them. And I just beat the game, so this kind of early game discoveries, I kind of wonder. And then if you enjoyed this video, enjoy me reacting to this, I can do the second one, because there is 15 more essential discoveries, or whatever it's named, that came out not too long ago on his channel. So, without further ado, like, comment, subscribe if you want. Let's begin.
Some of the most important discoveries in Elden Ring's early game are surprisingly easy to miss. For example, one of the most valuable consumables in Elden Ring is the Flask of Wondrous Physic, which has its single charge replenished every time you rest at a grace checkpoint.
Very useful
That alone
thing.
should earn it an esteemed place on your quick select bar, as it's the sort of thing you should try to consume for every major encounter. You can find your flask at the Third Church of Marika, located
I did
here.
find it, but
What does it do?
well,
That's up
a
to
bit
you.
into the
By
game.
mixing in different crystal tier combinations at a grace checkpoint, you can alter its effects. For example, here, my Crimson Burst tier heals me over time, and my Opaline Bubble tier gives me a shield that protects me from the next attack I'll be hit by. You can get both of these tiers from the field boss fought here. Another essential item is the Whetstone Knife, which allows you to apply Ashes of War to...
I don't know. I just realized it. What should I talk about? Because I don't know if it's gonna be spoiling game for somebody who's just very early playing it. Okay, I don't think it's gonna. So, you get tiers by fighting bosses next to the tree, and almost every tree, big tree on the map, has a boss, has the avatar boss. And they all drop the tiers, different varieties. That's all
Another
I'm gonna
essential
say.
item is the Whetstone Knife, which allows you to apply Ashes of War to your armaments. You can find the Whetstone Knife here, in a cellar underneath the Gateside ruins. It's kind of crazy they hid like such an important item here, but with this, you can now apply Ashes of War to your weapons, and that allows you to give them new skills and new scaling options to better suit your build. If you want to quickly get new skills and new scaling...
Later you will find other Whetstone knives. There is a chance, I don't remember going there, so there is a chance I've never got it. Never got this specific knife. I did get a lot of other ones, but not this one.
Options to better suit your build. If you want to quickly get a lot of Ashes of War, make sure to visit Banal during the day here at the War Master's shack. He sells an Ash of War that is perfect for you. No skill.
There's a hint. The way he said that, there is a hint. During the day. But I would recommend you go there during the day to get the grace, but then change it to night, and you have to teleport because how the game works. But come back there during the night. I'm not gonna say more, just come back.
I'm being serious though, because it's actually pretty good. What you do with this one is you apply it to a shield that has something like parry or another skill that you don't like, and by applying this to your shield, it allows your Ash of War to default to your weapons, weapon art, rather than your shields. And if you find yourself wielding...
And if I'm not wrong, if you like power sensing two weapons, you can also put it in a second. I guess second weapon doesn't overrun first.
Two weapons that you might want to duplicate an Ash of War for both of them. To do this, you'll have to trade an item called Lost Ashes of War.
Never actually done this.
And you're going to want to talk to the blacksmith pretty early, since the smithing table at the Church of Ella can only get your weapons to +3, but the blacksmith can take them well beyond that. To talk to him, though, will have to be invited to the Round Table Hold. It's hard to know exactly what triggers Melina to invite you here. I know you definitely get taken there if you defeat Margit at Stormvale Castle, but failing that, you will simply get invited just after exploring the world for a little while, and you can warp here at any time in the bottom left of your map.
Possibly a certain level, a certain
Margit
gain
is
of
actually also
runes.
important because he gives you your first talisman pouch. With
That
each
he does.
pouch you collect, you gain another talisman slot. Talismans are like rings from previous games. You only start with one slot, but in the end, you can have multiple, and they offer diverse and powerful benefits.
That was phrased a bit weirdly. They're like rings. You start with one and then go up. That's not how rings work. They're like rings in giving you similar buffs that rings do in previous like Souls games and stuff. But you don't start with one in the beginning.
To your character.
With
Just like talismans, your spell
the rings.
memorization slots are now also tied to items. So, if you want to memorize more than 2 spells at a time, then you'll need to seek out memory stones.
Yeah.
Your first memory stone can be found at Iridis Rise, where you'll have to solve a simple puzzle in order to gain access and open the chest within.
They're also like the trees that give you the tears to put in the flask you can mix. These things are in specific like mage towers kind of thingies.
Put this in your new memory slot. The world is a lot more dangerous at night. In addition to night enemies, tons of night bosses also seem to spawn. So if
Like
you're looking
Knight's
for more
Cavalry.
bosses to fight and you think you might have missed some in the early game, head here, 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 and here. You'll find some good bosses here. Now, to offset...
More back. I don't think I fought this one. That one. So I don't know if I fought this one at all. So I'm gonna do that because I started a new playthrough recently. That's a Night Cavalry. The one that was shown. This one's also a Night Cavalry. And I don't think I've been there either. Okay. Thank you, buddy.
You'll find some good bosses here.
I need to
Now,
just
to
Google
offset
night
this
bosses.
apparent rise in world difficulty at night, in my experience, your rune acquisition at night is also boosted, and this is thanks to 3 new mechanics. The first mechanic is this. When the Erd Tree graces you with this golden rain of leaves, you've just chanced upon a really rare weather effect that buffs your character. What does this buff do? I'm not sure exactly. The icon here is that of a
Item
4-fingered
discovery.
Foulfoot, which has items that increase item discovery
Yeah.
and rune acquisition, so it's likely that this rain does something similar.
Yes.
Now, the official
I think
guide
it's item
says that this
discovery.
rain increases rune acquisition by 4 to 5%, so I guess that's likely to be correct, although my testing actually
Yeah.
revealed nothing of the sort. The only other option I can think of is that it boosts item acquisition. Whatever the case though, it's probably a good idea to farm some enemies while this buff is active, just based on the icon.
Not
if
like
nothing
that
else.
though.
The second thing to look out
You
for
lost the buff
are
now.
enemies with golden eyes. In my experience, these enemies drop 4 times the amount of runes when you
Oh,
kill
4
them.
times. That's
So if you see an enemy with golden eyes, go out of your way. I love this mechanic. It really encourages you to take up some fights that you might just usually have run past, you know? Last but not least,
Still not worth
be on the
that
lookout
much.
for glowing
Oh.
white skulls upon the ground. Once broken apart, these will give you a golden rune consumable. They spawn in random locations and can easily be looted by trampling them with Torrent and spamming the loot button. Some folks will want to spend...
Which is a bit annoying for me. Because doesn't matter what location you're in. It could be the very first location you start or the very last location you visit, like difficulty-wise, the most difficult location. It's always a gold rune 1. Which is objectively fucking pointless in the end game.
these runes on becoming more powerful. But that's lame, honestly. Instead, you should spend them on looking good and getting that Elden bling. What I'm doing here is called armor
altering.
alteration, where elements of
I have
some
never
sets of
tried it,
armor
actually.
can
I
be
forgot
changed
about
for
it.
a small price. For example, a cloak can be added to the commoner set, and profits can be freed from the neck piece. Of course, every armor piece is different, so check it out for 500 runes and see what changes. To unlock armor alteration, you have
Before you do, though, check the stats, because armor alteration not just changes the look of the armor, it changes the stat of the armor as well, and its weight. So you might have a good bling, but then the weight changes, and maybe if it becomes heavier, I don't know if that's a possibility or not. I didn't test everything. But it could become heavier, maybe. And then you go into heavy load or medium load, the load you don't want to go in.
You have to defeat the boss of the demi-human cave in southwestern Limgrave. When you're victorious, you'll receive the tailoring kit, and a sewing needle.
Actually, I
The
found that
tailoring kit
very
unlocks
late.
armor alteration, but the sewing needle is actually
There's
a
a
part
different
of Box
item.
questline. Box questline can be started in a grove of trees located here.
Never done this. Okay, good.
And I suspect his questline might lead towards more armor alteration. Now, when I started
Okay.
this build, I wanted to be a glorious, faithful kind of Valkyrie
hidden
character.
shit.
Then I found a black crossbow, a spell that casts darkness, and an evil-looking flail. These things
Triple
were
the
way
flail, what
too
the hell?
edgy for me. But luckily, in Elden Ring, you can change your character's appearance to better suit your build. So that's what I did. It's easy to
by
miss,
using the
but
mirror.
in Fear's room at Round Table Hold,
Yeah.
go up to this mirror. This is the clouded mirror stand. Here, you'll be able to return to the character creation screen and change everything except your starting stats and keepsake, of course. Make sure you
Well,
frequently
cosmetic.
do return to the Round Table Hold to see if anything's changed or if any new NPCs have dropped by. Roderica should be one of the first new appearances here. You can talk to Roderica out in the world, here by the Stormhill Shack, but it doesn't seem absolutely necessary for her questline for you to talk to her here. Just progress through the game, and she should eventually show up at Round Table Hold, whether you've talked to her before or not.
Okay.
After you've talked to her in Round Table Hold,
I thought
go
you
and talk
must
to the
talk to her in
blacksmith,
the building.
and then go back and talk to her
Shack.
again, and you can trigger a progression in her questline. After reloading the area, she will have found her purpose as a spirit tuner, someone who you should return to frequently to upgrade the strength of your favorite phantoms.
Bird? I never
Of course,
found
if
a
you haven't
bird.
already, you can get the spirit summoning bell from Renna when you return to the Church of Ella. The resource used for upgrading your spirits is
I was like, that's not. Is that how you actually pronounce the name? But that's her.
called Glovewort. Regular
Okay,
spirits
whatever.
require Grave Glovewort, and special spirits
Whatever I
require Ghost
was about to say
Glovewort.
might have been a
Glovewort is
spoiler
found
for
all
whoever's
throughout the
watching.
catacomb dungeons specifically, and unlike other resources, it doesn't appear to respawn after resting at a grace checkpoint, so be sure to loot these dungeons thoroughly.
You
Number
can buy
9
them
is
later on.
one of my favorite new things they've added to the game, bar none.
There we go.
Paintings. After you
Never
interact
done
with
this.
one, the
Collected
puzzle
a lot of
has begun.
paintings.
Your job now is to go and find that place depicted in the painting out in the actual world. This painting, for example, asked me to find these gravestones. I remembered seeing them a while ago, so I tracked them down near the seaside grace and was rewarded by the painter. I got a scarab headpiece that increases my damage taken, but increases the damage my faith spells do. This second painting was way trickier, and it was this one in
I
Stormvale
picked it
Castle.
up as well.
I'm not going to tell you where it depicts, but I will give you an important clue for all of your paintings going forward. Remember, you don't have to find the place depicted in the painting, you have to find the location it was painted from. If you ever need to
Yeah,
review
that
the
makes sense.
paintings you're tracking, then you can find them in your inventory menu here at the top of the screen. A new feature in Elden Ring are group passwords. Unlike multiplayer passwords, which restrict you to only interacting with people using the same password, group passwords simply let you visually distinguish who is using the same password as you and who isn't. You can still interact with everybody. For example, this sign on the left is using the same group password, and the sign on the right isn't. The same goes for phantoms and messages and even bloodstains, and I think it would be really cool to see
Even
others from our
bloodstains.
community while you're playing the game. So
That's cool.
I want to make a community group called Secret Seekers. Our community password will be Seekers, all capitalized like that. As a Secret Seeker, it's your job to drop your gold summon sign or a message and guide others to a secret, whether that's a dungeon or a hidden path nearby. If you're
Yeah,
happy
but
with the message,
look at that
then
pyro
upvote it.
spam.
And if you have a good co-op session that leads to finding a new secret, then consider dropping a reward for your fellow seeker. Remember, our community password is Seekers. Oh, and speaking of special codes, if you go to audible.com/VartiVidya or text
it?
VartiVidya to 500,
I guess it is 10. Okay.
then you can claim your free 30-day Audible trial
15
and
is
get
in the
full
second
access
one.
to thousands and thousands
This is
of all you can
incredibly
listen audiobooks, original entertainment, and podcasts included in the
not just
Plus
entertaining,
catalog.
but
Additionally, you'll get credit for one full audiobook,
enlightening.
completely free. And
I remember
this
that
month,
this
I'm
time.
recommending that you download the audiobook for The
A lot
Lord
of things
the
I didn't
Rings.
know or never
One
found.
ring to rule them all.
Knew about
One
some
ring
things, but
to
didn't do
find
them.
One ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
There's a couple of great narrators for this one, and it just seems so fitting to recommend this story now on the eve of Elden Ring's release. These are 2 stories about rings of power that are set in enormous worlds that really draw you into their fantasy. So maybe have a listen while you do some grindy stuff in-game, like foraging for materials, or farming runes, or grinding enemy drops. That's how I tend to use Audible. I think it's pretty fantastic to be inspired and productive at the same time, So remember, go to audible.com/VartiVidya or text VartiVidya to 500 and get your free trial started. So thank you to Audible for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching.
Look at that art. So cute, look at it. It's like moving in the clouds. Oh, that's a cool art. I like it a lot. Anyway, this video was fantastic. I'm gonna watch it again while I'm playing, so I'll remember to do some things. Because my memory is not gonna make me remember this, like, at all. I'm gonna forget everything in like 10 minutes. But hopefully, I'll remember to watch the video again to find things that I want. Also, I will probably put my the seekers in it. I didn't know that was a thing. It's pretty fucking cool. Probably gonna use seekers to see like people instead of just all the randoms. I will at least know that these are pure randoms, and these are people who watched, I guess, the Vadi video or watch Vadi Vidi's videos. But yeah, it sounds pretty fucking cool. Anyway, thank anybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.